The most unsettling thing about Yellowface isn't what June does, it's how she justifies it to herself. And that's exactly why it feels like the perfect place to begin going analog, where we are slowing down and actually sitting with books to better understand them. If you haven't heard of it, Yellowface by R.F. Kuang follows June Hayward, a struggling white writer who steals the manuscript of her deceased Asian American friend and publishes it as her own. It's satire, and the level of delusion is astounding. It is about the publishing industry, but it's also about accountability or the lack thereof. It's about a person who can't cope with their own limitations, so they rewrite the narrative instead of working to improve themselves. I like to go into books without expectations. If you do that here, I think you'll have an excellent reading experience. I think this is up there as one of R.F. Kuang's best works. I finished it in 2 sittings. It's everything R.F. Kuang excels at. She drops you directly into June's mindset, trapping you inside her delusional head. You can almost understand her, or at least how she ends up where she is. You see how June justifies her choices, and ultimately how it all spirals out of control. She's not meant to be likable, and that's the point. I think it's extremely important that people read this and sit with that discomfort. If you can't see that she's deeply unlikable, or you can't tolerate being inside her perspective, I think that reaction is worth examining, because a large part of our society struggles with sitting with discomfort, and that's what happens to June's character. She feels like a failure, and instead of working to prove that's not wrong, she takes the easy way out, the version of the story that protects her ego, regardless of the consequences or of anyone else's feelings. Yellowface may be about the publishing industry, but publishing is just a microcosm of a much larger issue. This book is about society, public perception, and morality. I think it's a critique of society's ever-growing inability to listen, understand, and learn, and the subject matter feels urgent. Kuang forces the reader to reconcile with this character and what she represents. What most stood out to me was the way that June is constantly reframing her reality to protect herself. And that's a theme that is all too prevalent in our world today. For me, starting going analog with Yellowface feels fitting, because this book is about a woman who steals a book as a shortcut to become who she wants to be, but if she takes that shortcut beyond even the immoral theft, she has not achieved who she wants to be. Her accomplishment becomes hollow. Going analog for me is the act of slowing down and appreciating books as they were meant to be. Instead of a sprint, I like to make it a marathon. In every book, there's a potential new friend and a whole world to explore. I believe books deserve more than a one-off 30-second video, and the more amazing books that I read, the more I want to hold on to everything from them that I can. So join me in my version of going analog. Let's explore books completely and really appreciate them for what they are, a portal to another time, place, or world.